Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are here to talk about the Seattle Storm's 2025 WNBA draft. Alright, and what an exciting draft it was. I put out a little short on YouTube today and TikTok saying how I was hoping that the Seattle Storm would take center Dominique Malonga out of France with the number 2 overall pick. And sure enough, that is exactly what they did, and I am really excited about it. All right. I myself I've only become really aware of Dominique Malonga in the last couple of weeks because there's been so many players in women's college basketball that decided to return for another year. And that kind of was throwing a mix into what was going to happen in the draft. There for the longest time, I was hoping the Storm were going to be able to trade up to number 1 and get Paige Beckers. And, there was a lot of scenarios thrown out there on the way that might happen and why that might happen. Didn't matter, whatever the case was. Dallas said, you know what, it doesn't matter. There's no way we're gonna get rid of this pick and not select Paige, right? So totally understand that. But then again, like I said, all these players start saying that they're gonna go back to college. I mean, there for a while it seemed like Olivia Miles out of Notre Dame, that was kind of slotted in to be the Storm's pick there for a while. Everybody was in agreement. That's who they're going to take. She decides to go back for another year. And honestly, I don't think it could have worked out any better for the Seattle Storm than this, because Dominique Malonga is a phenom, right? She is 6'6", 19 years old, and she's been playing in the pros in France since she was 15. This last year, averaged 15 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 1.5 assists, 1.4 blocks, and 1.2 steals. And this all being at 19 years old. And remember, even when we were watching the Olympics, I was mainly focused on, for France, Gabby Williams, because that's the player I'm most familiar with, because she's been with the Storm, right? Dominique Malonga was a big part of that team getting the silver medal. It's really exciting to get a player who has all this raw talent and ability at such a young age and is being productive with it at such a young age, because she's just going to continue to develop, get better, and she's coming to a great organization to be able to do that. She's coming to a team who is going to be able to provide that. Think about who's in front of her. Nneka Ogwumike, Ezi Magbagor. They both have a ton of experience. Nneka's going to be able to teach her so much about playing in the WNBA, being a veteran for as long as Nneka has been, and being one of the best as long as she has been. And then Ezi is really going to be able to teach her what it's like, and give her advice for what it's like being a player coming from overseas at a young age. Because remember, Ezzy did this same exact thing. And she has developed into one of the best defensive players in the WNBA. And Dominique Malonga has the same exact potential, right? A 6'6" center who can move like a forward, has the quickness, the agility to be able to play on the perimeter offensively and defensively. Yeah, that is really, really exciting. And I know it's the number 2 overall pick, so it's hard to say a pick that high is a steal. But I think at the number 2 overall pick, the Seattle Storm got an absolute steal. Again, because we're talking about a player who's already been playing in pro leagues. This is about to be a step up for her in competition, but she's been playing against 20-something and 30-something-year-old women already. So, she at least will have experience doing that. Now she has to come do it against the best in the world, but like I said, she's just got all that raw ability and talent, and coming to the perfect place to develop that. And it just excites me to think on how that's going to affect this team. I mean, the way we see Dominic play, it seems like, you're going to be able to use her around the floor. When I've been watching her gameplay, again, she can get down low. She has this nice little drop step she does, gets in there, or she can turn around and fade away and hit that as well. And then again, she can hit on the perimeter, both mid-range and from 3. She can have the ball out on the perimeter and drive. There's not a lot of players in the WNBA who are going to be able to keep up with her speed and her quickness at that size. So that's going to be really exciting to watch. And again, if you go watch some of her highlights, like, she dunks effortlessly, right? I mean, we've had WNBA players dunk in the past, but not the way it looks when Dominique Malonga dunks. It looks effortless, and again, she's only 19, so she's only going to get stronger. So perhaps we'll see her do even more dunks in game, right? So yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch. It's going to be exciting to watch. And I know the Seattle Storm fans are going to be excited because I think one of the great things about the Seattle Storm fan base is that they are very knowledgeable about the game. They are very supportive. And, I think, the fans are going to be very excited about this player and be giving this player a lot of support, and just really rooting for her to do well. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, there was 3 other picks. All 3 of the other picks that the Storm had were in the 3rd round, but they have players that they're all players that have a chance to make the team. It's tough in the WNBA. A lot of times, the players in the 3rd round, they're not the type of players that make the roster. But the Storm, they're going through quite a bit of change from last season to this season, so there's opportunity there. Remember, Nika Mule got hurt overseas, messed up that knee and is going to be missing this year. So I imagine they'll be able to put her on injured reserve, and that will open up another spot on the roster. Again, still tough because there's only 12 spots on the roster in the WNBA. But, you know, when we look at somebody like a Serena Sundell, her brother, you know, will be competing for a job on the Seahawks offensive line again this year. So that is, you know, a fun little side note as well. But Serena here, I think has a good chance because we do need, you know, we were in need of guard, and Serena Sundell played at Kansas State, right? 139 games, averaged 32 minutes a game, 12.7 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 5.8 assists a game, 1.3 steals, and I believe she is Kansas State's all-time assist leader. So I think that is something that could play on the Seattle Storm. Somebody who can facilitate and distribute the ball to all the weapons we have, right? Gabby Williams, Dominique Malonga now, Ezzy Magbagor, Nneka Ogwumike. These are all players. I'm sure she would even be on the court sometimes at the same time as Skylar Diggins-Smith. I would not be surprised if that was the case. So she is somebody who very much could make this team. Now, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not that deep into college women's basketball where I know all these third round players, but Madison Connor, again, they went with all 3 of their third round picks. They went guard again because that's how badly the Storm need depth at guard right now. You know, so Madison Connor, guard out of TCU, played 132 games, started 65 of them, 22 minutes a game, 10 points a game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. You know, she's, you know, when I'm looking at the stats here again, because I didn't really watch her play, you know, I'm looking at this and saying this is going to be tough. So we'll have to see how this essentially works out once camp starts, because then you're in tryout mode. So we're going to see how that works out. And same thing with Jordan Hobbs out of Michigan. You know, played 117 games, started 77, 22 minutes, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 0.5 steals. You know, not any big numbers that are going to blow you away, but you know, maybe they'll have some chemistry on the court with the rest of the team. But Dominique Malonga obviously going to make the team at the number 2 overall pick. And I'm looking at Serena Sundell and saying, yes, this could play. This could be a depth player on your roster. It is going to be it's going to be a hard roster to make, but it will be possible for these women to come in and win a spot. You know, if we're looking at the other guards on our roster right now, we're looking at Erica Wheeler, Lexi Brown, Zaya Cook, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Nika Mule. And again, Nika Mule, not going to be playing this year. Skylar Diggins-Smith, pen that one in. That's, she's making the team. Now, these players will be competing with Zaya Cook, Erica Wheeler, and Lexi Brown. And yeah, I think, in my opinion, all those spots are up for grabs. It'll be tough competition, and that's why they drafted 3 guards in the 3rd round, because they got to get the depth right. We know we have Skylar Diggins-Smith, but you got to get the guards behind her right. And yeah, it's gonna be a fierce competition. It'll be fun to watch and exciting to keep track of and see who makes this team, and helps the Seattle Storm get back to the playoffs and make a run at this thing this year, because this team, again, if we're looking at this roster, again, just looking at Skylar Diggins-Smith, Eka Agumake, Gabby Williams, Ezi Magbagor, Jordan Horston at this point. That's probably your starting 5. And that's if Dominique Malonga doesn't come in and win a starting job right away, where they just say, you know what, she is so athletic for her size, we can have Skylar Diggins-Smith, Nneka Agumake, Gabby Williams, Ezi Magbagor, and Dominique Malonga on the court at the same time. And again, imagine Ezi Magbagor at 6'4", Nneka Agumake at 6'2", and then Dominique Malonga at 6'6". Who's going to score on the inside? And then Dominique Malonga, being as good as she is, as a perimeter defender as she is, who's going to score on him from the outside with the tough defense that Skylar Diggins-Smith plays, and then having Dominique Malonga out there as well. It's going to be tough for other teams, and that's going to make it. And then of course Gabby Williams, having 3 players out there on the perimeter that can play defense like that. And then if you're telling me that's Jordan Horston coming off the bench as your 6th player, somebody who can also just play great defense, and again has the height and the length at 6'2", that's pretty amazing, right? That's pretty amazing lineup that you have right there. And that's just talk about your 6th player, and then talk about Lee Yuru and Alicia Clark coming off your bench as well. Now you really are talking about a contender this year, because now you're looking at this roster, it's going 7, 8, 9 deep. So it's going to be a very exciting season. Yeah, that's what I have to say about this. I'm just really pumped up. I'm really excited about how this draft played out for us, and how I think that means it's going to play out for the roster, and how we're going to play. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the draft, and how do you feel about Dominique Malonga being the number 2 overall pick. Let me know what you think the chances of any of the 3 other players are making this team. And yeah, give me your way too early to tell projected starting 5. Again, for me, I'm going to say Skylar Diggins-Smith, Gabby Williams, Ezi Magbagor, Nneka Agumake, and Dominique Malonga. That's what I'm going with my starting 5 right there. Let me know your starting 5. Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when all these episodes are coming out. And until next time, go Storm.